Well, I want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you guys on the Facebook Live here joining us over here. And we've got our Instagram Live audience right here joining us. Today we are going to be talking about income on the Poverty Podcast. Once again, thank you guys for joining. Go ahead and give you guys a second to go ahead and join up. Get ready, take some notes. We're going to be talking about income. We're just going to jump right in. I've been talking to a lot of you guys, building a lot of hype about this. I'm pretty sure you guys just want to go ahead and get into it. First thing we're going to be talking about, like I said, is income. If you want to get, wealthy, or if you want to get to where you're trying to get, where a lot of people are trying to get, wealthy or rich or, just, comfortable, or even, just financially stable, financially secure, you're going to need some income. Whether you like it or not, it takes money to make money. And I'm pretty sure, a lot of you guys have heard that before. It takes a lot of money to make a lot of money, and it takes a little money, to make some money. So what we are going to be talking about today is how anybody can get this income that's, required to get where you want to get. And it's really not that hard. Everyone's already doing this. The first thing you need to do this is going to be a resume, because you're going to need a job, right? If you want money, what are you going to do? You're going to do, legal activities, or you're going to do illegal activities. And if you're going to do legal activities, it's probably 95% of the time going to be, this thing called a job or a career or a gig or, a hustle, and most of the time you're going to need a resume or a portfolio that's going to show that you have expertise and, that you are responsible and reliable enough, to do the job that you are applying to do. So what we're going to be talking about is why a resume exactly is important. And let's talk about that. Why don't you guys go ahead and comment right now what you think, why you think a resume is important to having a job. There's a lot of people out there that don't think a resume is very important to having a job. And there are people out there that go through thousands of resumes a day to only pick, a very certain amount of few, pick like 3. So, you guys go ahead and tell me why you think resumes are or are not important. I'm going to tell you right now that resumes are important. They're very important in jobs. What you need to do if you want a better job is redo your resume. That is step 1. Redo your resume, because 9 times out of 10, you could be the most qualified person in your city, in your region, in your area of expertise. But, if you've got a shitty resume, then, that hiring manager, that hiring recruiter, they're going to throw your resume right behind them, with the rest of, the recruits that didn't make it. So, and don't get me wrong, like, they don't like to throw away good candidates like that. But you have to understand that they're going through thousands upon, tens of thousands, dozens of thousands of electrical resumes, physical resumes, and they've got to fill that job. So whether, we like it or not, that's just how the game is played. And that's what we need, to play the game. We need a good resume. So that's your first step in getting better income. It's going to be building a better resume for yourself, whether it be, making it look good. Definitely want to make it look good. You definitely want to reflect your skills on there. You definitely want to have, a solid objective. An objective is something that, you want out of your career, something you want out of this job that you're going to. You're definitely going to want solid, very solid skills. Now, the thing about skills and the thing about a resume that a lot of people don't understand that aren't in business is that building a resume is kind of just like building a business, because with your resume, there are a lot of keywords, for example, that are popping up that recruiters are looking for. For example, if I am a recruiter and I'm looking for, a network engineer, I'm going to look for keywords that are sticking out for that specific industry. So if I'm looking for a network engineer, I'm going to look up, keywords that match, Meraki or, CCNA, or maybe, network operations center, things that have to do with the industry that you're in. Those are what skills you don't just want to put them on your resume. You need to actually know those skills, and you need to know them inside out if you're going to put them on your resume. So, that would be, the first couple of steps when it comes to building your income that you could start right now. You could start right now. You could literally do this right now. Just start working on your resume. It's free. You got Google Word docs out there. You've got Microsoft Word. You've got text if you really need to. You've got a multitude of different tools that you could use starting right now that you could, use to build your resume and go ahead and start looking for another job. You could be worth $30 an hour and only getting paid, only like 12, just because your resume just looks, just a little shitty. So what you could do right now is go ahead and start, doing some research on the keywords that your industry focuses on, and go ahead and throw those into your resume and objective and skills and experience. You need those keywords just like when you run a business, just like you need your website to have these same keywords, in the meta tags, you've got, hidden tags, you've got so many different places that you need these words just so you can get organic traffic. And a resume works the exact same way for, recruiters and job seekers, looking for. So that's going to be the first couple steps you're going to be looking for when it comes to increasing your income, that you can start right now, right after this video. That's what you need in order to do this to your resume. It's really smart to, think about how you want to do it, and if you guys really want, different ways or different methods, or you want to experience, different people, or you want to work with different options, you can always go to my website. My website is The Real Dell. That's THE, the real, the word real, REAL, my name, DELL, therealdell.com. And, I've got plenty of blogs, I've got plenty of workshops, courses and classes you could sign up for. I've got a monthly mentorship. You can go there, go ahead and sign up for that. We're going to go ahead and discuss different methods and different ways you could, go ahead and start making your resume, and a lot of other different things, transform, so you can transform your life. Moving on here, a resume is pretty important, when it comes to getting that job, because, your job that you're going to get is going to be paying you while you're on your road to success. You see what I'm saying? Rome wasn't built in a day. So, you're going to need something that's going to cover you while you're trying to build your Rome. If Rome wasn't built in a day, then, how many days was it built in, and once you figure out how many days it took to build Rome, then, that's when you're like, okay, well, you're going to need something to sustain you while you're getting where you want to get. It's a very common saying that businesses usually take 3 years to start seeing profit. Now, like I said, this is the real Dell channel. You know, we talk about real shit, you know, real results, you know, real everything. Most businesses, you know, take about 3 years before they see a profit. This is not, you know, even Shopify or Amazon or, you know, those eBays that you know, you see online every day. A lot of people aren't, you know, really gonna tell you the backbone and what it really took to get to where they want to get. You know, they want to make it seem like it is what it isn't. And what I'm telling you right now is that it takes time. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of commitment. So why don't you guys go ahead and tag someone right now that you think needs to go ahead or could go ahead and rebuild their resume for, you know, a better job or a better career for themselves. Want to go ahead and tag a friend right now, share the video with them. We're going to go ahead and move on to, you know, number 2 when it comes to your income. Number 2 is definitely going to be the industry. I cannot really express how important this is because you don't want to be the guy that's, you know, you don't want to be the guy that's stuck. Hold on here. You don't want to be the guy, you know, that's stuck in an industry that is oversaturated for one. You know, you've got here. Okay, let me give you a couple of good examples here. I was talking to one of my friends. You know, he's a doctor. He's not like, you know, a big renowned doctor or anything, but you know, he is a surgeon. And you know, he was expressing how, you know, there is such a shortage in surgeons and doctors, but there are so many more nurses. And that industry itself, you know, the nursing care industry, as you can see by my example, is oversaturated. There are nurses everywhere. And just like any basic 101 economic class, what happens when you have too much of something, right? When you have too much of something, too much supply, you know, your price is going to decrease. So that's why, you know, you know, nurses, you know, years ago were getting paid more than now. Of course, you've got inflation that takes care of there too. But in the next 20 years, you know, nurses aren't really going to be getting paid the same rate as, you know, they are today. You know, another example would be, you know, the warehouse industry. You know, like when the factory industry first came out, you know, way back in, you know, the 30s and the 40s or whatever the hell it came out, you know, everybody was in the factory. You know, your dad, you know, your mom, your cousin, your uncle, probably not your mom, but you know, you get what I'm saying. And everybody that had a job was there. That was basically like the only place you could go if you wanted it, you know, a paycheck, you know, to pay your bills. And nowadays, you know, like damn near 100 years later, you know, the same exact industry isn't really paying that much, you know, and they're demanding so much more out of people, you know, it's like they don't even want you to work. You know, another industry that you would have to study is, you know, IT is a good industry, don't get me wrong, but you know, if you are in a certain field of IT, I'm not gonna say exactly what it is, but if you're in a certain field of IT, then, you know, that, you know, there's more than one, but you know, that field per se does not pay as much as it first did, you know, back in the 70s or, you know, the 80s or anything like that. You know, so before, you know, you start investing time and, you know, energy into another career or the same career that you're in right now, think about where the industry came from and think about where the industry is going. You know, think about where the industry is right now. You can't just work a job and just, you know, get the paychecks. You have to, you know, where is this going to be 20 years from now? Is it going to be worth $30 an hour or is it going to be worth $10 an hour? Now, I live, you know, in like the Mid-East, so $30 an hour is a lot here. I'm pretty sure if you live, you know, in San Francisco, that ain't nothing. But, in San Francisco, that would be equivalent to, $30 an hour in San Francisco would be equivalent to like $104 an hour, So that's what I'm saying here is know your industry before, you get tied all the way up into your industry and it's too late, because you don't want to be, 50, 60, 70 years old in an industry that is declining. Don't be that person, okay? I've got a student of mine right now, that they've made a tremendous success, but, their industry was declining and, they got out at a great time. Moving on here, what you can do to research what industry, I'm going to give you guys a nice tip, something that you can do to research good industry. Go online, start looking for jobs, start looking for, exams, start looking for certifications, start looking for those keywords that we talked about earlier. Start seeing these trends, start studying where these things are going so that you can know, start looking at, who the industry powerhouses are. If you're in the networking industry, like I was, that, Cisco's a great one, Oracle's another good one. If you're in the healthcare industry, you could talk about Humana, they're good, Kindred's another good one. If you're in the warehouse industry, UPS is taking, pretty good routes, and so is Amazon. Amazon's taking, they're top of the line right now. So, when it comes to industry, research, definitely want to make sure you know what you're getting into before you invest into it. Just like business, just like stocks, just like everything else. Do some research, invest time into what you're going to get into so that you can, succeed in that. The next thing we're going to talk about is, last but not least, but it's networking. If you could have the best resume, you could have the best industry right now, and if you're an asshole or you have, a bad reputation, people aren't going to want to work with you. They're just not going to work with you. And on the contrary, if people like you and your resume is not the best, or, if people like you, well, you can't really say if you're in a bad industry. If you're in a bad industry, you're just in a bad industry. But if people like you, you're going to have some opportunity. You might even get an opportunity to switch industries. You never know. You might, go from the fast food industry to, an administration industry. That's a promotion. Depending on what you are doing in fast food. So networking's definitely going to be very important. Outside of business, not everything inside of business is just about business. There are some things in business that, you can apply outside of business, into relationships, things like that, or into goals. So what kind of examples do I have for networking? Back when I was, a network engineer, years ago, I needed a job. And, I was new to the city. And since I needed a job, I just started making some phone calls. I knew a guy and he cooked me up with a job way before then. We were still pretty good friends. And he got me a nice job in a nice city within a couple weeks. So, now I know a couple weeks sounds like, like a very long time, but there are a lot of people out there that go years without a job, or, there are people out there that even go, a length of time without a job and working somewhere that they don't want to work just because they have to, make ends meet. So, networking is definitely going to be very important when it comes to, increasing your income. Don't forget about the industry. Don't forget about the resume. I almost forgot to tell you guys how to increase your networking. Something you could do right now. Share this video. If you share this video right now, tag a friend. That is networking. A friend that that needs this video or needs this information. All you have to do is just tag them or share the video with them, and they would share it. with someone else that they see, like, you know, that they would see you, you know, as a resource. Like, hey, you know, where'd you find this video? You know, that's how networking works. Recap just real quick. You know, this is the Poverty Podcast. You can follow me at The Real Dell on Instagram. I've got a website out there, therealdell.com. You know, you can sign up for the monthly mentorship. Don't forget to like this video, tag your friends, share it with someone that you think could use it. And if this is on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next week.